How are we doing, everyone? Sam here from United People's TV, here to preview the upcoming game against Swansea this weekend. Before we get into it, I want to tell you about the BetVictor Golden Goal promotion. They're running it again. This time it's for the Liverpool-Watford game, 25 grand up for grabs. All you've got to do is guess the first goal scorer in the first minute. There's a link in the description to get your prediction. You know, Swansea's form, Swansea's most dangerous players, but I think the focus is purely on Man United at the moment because Swansea are down, second from bottom. They got pummeled 3-1 by Stoke in their last game, but they've had close games against Arsenal, close losses against Arsenal and Liverpool, and they drew with Chelsea, so they've had a very up and down season. But I really want to talk about Man United and what I consider an identity crisis at the club. I'm not saying it's a crisis, complete crisis, but that game against Fenerbahce really, really worried me. I knew it was going to be a tough game because we hadn't won in 8 European away games, and it's Fenerbahce, Turkey, hostile atmosphere, X, Y, Z. Lots of reasons why that was going to be a difficult game always for Man United. But what I saw on that pitch was a very, very uncommitted performance. And that comes after Burnley. We got 2 polar opposite games here. Yes, one's at home and one is in the Premier League and one's away in European football. There's a lot of deciding factors you can bring into this, but at home against Burnley, I think every single player left 110% on the pitch. They couldn't have done any more to win that game. Do you think one player left that stadium in Turkey thinking, I've given everything against Fenerbahce and I've got to accept the loss? Absolutely not. Every single player and Jose Mourinho could have done more for Man United against Fenerbahce, and they didn't. And it was a very limp performance from front to back. Our shock horror, our defence is a shambles when we've got a defensive midfielder and a left back playing as our 2 centre backs. We're really going to miss Eric Bailly this season. He actually brought some sort of spine, some sort of aggression back into a Man United side, which is particularly weak without players like him in it. And now you see Paul Pogba might be injured. He went off against Fenerbahce. I think looked like he just had a dead leg. I think it was more precautionary than anything. But I think at the moment Man United do have an identity crisis in that what I saw against Fenerbahce as well was you saw so many players playing naturally in the middle. You had Rashford and Martial who were playing out in the wing. They're not wingers. They're strikers. So they always drift inside naturally. Luke Shaw looks out of form. He looked okay against Burnley, but then a week later he looks terrible against Fenerbahce. He definitely needs to get his fitness and his game time back up. But Man United are really, really struggling at the moment. I don't need to tell you that for you to see what is going on at the club. And anything but 3 points against Swansea makes the game against Arsenal coming in a couple of weeks a potentially season-defining game because we're already 7 points off 4th. Worst case scenario, we lose against Swansea. We're 10 points off 4th. Then we play Arsenal. If we lose that game, we might be 13 points off 4th. Going into November, going into a very, very crazy December, crazy Christmas period. But Man United have just got to buck up because I see a squad which is littered with quality players. Mkhitaryan, Pogba, De Gea, Ibrahimovic, Rashford, Martial, Mata. Don't tell me that we need to go through another 1 or 2 transfer windows to get a squad capable of challenging for the Premier League. This squad is capable of challenging right now. And that's what's frustrating me the most. Because I'm seeing a squad that is very, very capable on paper, but in reality is just not cutting the mustard. Where does the problem lie? Does it lie with Jose Mourinho? Does it lie with the players? I think there is a collective responsibility. Jose is definitely, for a man who's preaching his use of specialist players, he's using players out of position. Rashford's not a winger. Martial shouldn't be a winger. But the players themselves have got to start performing. It's very, very simple. The manager can only go so far. When it comes to actually the players playing the football, they've got to do it themselves. And I just need to see more from this Man United team. I need to see that level that we saw against Burnley every single week. And they should be capable of doing that every single week. Not drawing 0-0 every single week, but banging. Chances in left, right and centre. Attacking. Pressing with high intensity. Winning the ball back. Looking like they want to play for the shirt that they are wearing. I didn't see that in Fenerbahce. It looked like Olympiacos Part 2. That terrible game under David Moyes, it was a turning point there. This is not a turning point for United, but it needs to be a wake-up call. Because if we go into this game against Swansea on Sunday and we don't come away with 3 points, it makes that game against Arsenal far, far bigger than it needs to be at this point in the season. Let me know your thoughts ahead of the game. That's it for the match preview. As I said, anything but a win puts Man United in a very, very tricky situation with Arsenal coming to Old Trafford towards the end of November. That's it for the preview. Drop a like on the video if you want. Yeah, we'll see you soon.